Sri Sri Radharanath Temple. So we may all rise for Guru Puja. And we will proceed. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma Pandomo Visavadana Pati Pandomo Visavadana Pati Yara Prasadi Bhai Hi Baba Turi Ajaha Krishna Prabhi Hoya Hoite Krishna Prabhi Hoya Hoite Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chite Te Koya Ikya Harana Kuriyo Bani Hasha Harana Kuriyo Bani Hasha Shri Guru Charane Rati Hesi Utabhagati Ye Prasade Pure Sarva Hasha Ye Prasade Pure Sarva Asha Chagudani Dunje Chabe Chabe Prabhu Se Divigyani De Progasito Prema Bhakti Hundi Havidave Nasa Jate Hridega Jahara Charito Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Hadvaja Darapado Lokena Tifana Prabhu Goro Doya Deyamore Padachaya Prabhu Goro Doya Deyamore Padachaya Vedegani Trudribo Fana Shira Prabhupada Padita Pavana Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Shivadi Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityanamine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Niveshesha Shinyavari Pasyacha Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Sri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Veda Jaya Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Sri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Veda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha 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 Radha. Jaya Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan. Jaya Gora Hari, Gora Hari, Gora Hari, Jaya Gora Hari. Jaya Tulsi Maharani Jaya Vrindadevi, Tulsi Maharani Jaya Vrindadevi. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada.
Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivraj Gacharya Astatra Sata Shishimad Abhay Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivraj Gacharya Astatra Sata Shishimad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री द्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपा गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की वृंदावन धाम की मायापुर नवद्वीप धाम की नीलाचल जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की गंगा माया जमुना माया की तुलसी देवी भक्ति देवी की The Lordship Sri Sri Radha Radhanath ki, The Lordship Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki, The Lordship Sri Sri Nitai Gaura Hari ki, Harinam Sankirtan ki, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki, Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome to today's Sunday Love Feast program. As we know, this year is the 50th anniversary of Srila Prabhupada's arrival in South Africa. So in honor of that, we'll be having a short video about Srila Prabhupada. So we can get ready for the video. Hare Krishna.
Lokahitam. Actually, our this movement is the prime welfare activities to the human society. Lokahitam. It is not a business. Business means my hitam, my benefit only. It is not. It is Krishna's business. Krishna's business means Krishna is for everyone. Therefore, Krishna's business is meant for everyone. We therefore welcome everyone. There is no distinction. Come here and chant Lokahitam. And a sadhu, a saintly person, should always think of lokahitam. That is the difference between sadhu and ordinary man. Ordinary man, he thinks only of himself or expanded himself for family, for community, for society, for nation. These are all expanded selfishness. Expanded. When I'm alone, I'm thinking of my benefit only. When I'm little grown up, I think of my brothers and sisters. And when I'm little advanced, I think of my family. Little advanced, I think of my community. Little advanced, I think of my country, my nation. Or I can think of the whole human society internationally. But Krishna is so big that Krishna includes everyone, not only human society, animal society, bird society, bee society, tree society, everything. Krishna says, Aham bija pradapita, I am the seed-giving father of all these forms. There are 8,400,000 different kinds of forms. Krishna claims all of them are my part and parcel, living entities, but they are now covered by different dress only, but they are living entities. This is Krishna consciousness vision. Therefore, one who is actually Krishna conscious, Pandita Samadarshina. Pandita, he does not see the outward dress. He sees the living entity encased in this particular type of body. So he has no concern with the body. Therefore, a sadhu always thinks of everyone's benefit. Just like Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami or the Goswamis, it is said, Lokanang hitakarino tribhuvane manno, because they were benefactor for all kinds of living entities. Therefore, they were honored tribhuvane in three words. Tribhuvane, lokanang hitaka, nana shastra vicharanaika nipuno. The sadhu's business is for the benefit of all living entities. A sadhu does not like to cut even a tree because he knows here is a living entity. He is standing here for many years by his karma, and he has to continue this for many years more. So he cannot avoid this because it is nature's law. Just like if you are put into prison for 6 months, nobody can save you. Nobody can make you one day less than 6 months. So we get our particular type of body. We have to remain in that body for a certain period by the laws of nature. So by cutting the body, the living entity does not die, but because we check the continuation of his period, therefore he become sinful. You cannot cut even a tree without Krishna's purpose. Without Krishna's purpose, we cannot kill even an ant, we cannot cut even a tree, then we shall be liable to punishment. So, a sadhu sees that here is also a living entity. Pandita samadar, vidya vinaya sampanni brahmani gavi hastini sunichi cha supaki. Pandita samadarshana.
Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna again, dear devotees, and welcome to today's Sunday Love Feast program. Welcome to anyone who be here for the first time joining us today, especially after our last weekend of our exhilarating and uplifting Rath Yatra 2025. And we spent so much time together, and that lends to today's topic of class, which is the importance of spiritual community. So before we continue, I would like to humbly ask you to please turn off your cell phones or have them on silent mode. So our speaker for today is His Holiness Bhakti Caitanya Swami Maharaj Ki Jai. So a little bit about Maharaj. As we know, Maharaj is a disciple of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Maharaj is also an initiating spiritual master, and we saw a beautiful initiation ceremony at Rath Yatra last week. Maharaj also serves on the GBC, and Maharaj travels worldwide preaching Krishna consciousness in countries like India, Russia, and of course here in South Africa. What's also notable is that when Maharaj travels to Vrindavan, Maharaj documents these pilgrimages so that the rest of us who can't always make it to go to Vrindavan can also deepen our connection with Krishna through these documentaries. So the topic once again, the importance of spiritual community. There will be 2 clipboards going around with an opportunity for you to ask questions. So if you do have questions, you may write them on that and we'll give them to Maharaj. So let's welcome His Holiness Bhakti Caitanya Swami Maharaj Ki Jai. Hare Krishna.
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihare Madhava Kunja Bihare Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihare Gopi Jana Balava Giri Bharadhare Gopi Jana Balava Giri Bharadhare Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachare Yamuna Tira Vanachare Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihare Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihare Gopi Jana Ballava Giri Bharadhare Gopi Jana Ballava Giri Bharadhare Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachare Yamuna Tira Vanachare Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihare Kunja Bihare Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jamstad Paramahansa Paravajakacharya Status Sistamad, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki, ISKCON's founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki, Sri Sri Radha Radhanath Ki, Sri Giri Govardhan Ki, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu Ki, Sankirtan Yagya Ki, Go Premanande. All glories to their Simul devotees. All glories to their Simul devotees. All glories to their Simul devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So devotees, welcome. How nice to be here with you all. Thank you for coming. And this fellow who's racing down there, he should come too. He took the wrong turning down there, I think. Yes, it's unfortunate sometimes. So, yes, we have a subject, as Mataji announced, basically focusing on the importance, the value of spiritual community. And in one sense, we're looking at this in the context of our Rath Yatra festival, which we were observing last weekend, and I'm sure so many of you were there, maybe all of you were there actually, and it was just a magnificent festival, and thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of people were there, and basically everything was very nicely presented, and well, the weather was very nice. That helped a lot. But the festival was just so nicely put together and systematically presented in glorification of Lord Krishna, Lord Jagannath, Lord Balaram, and Lady Subhadra, in their honor, for their glorification, and for the glorification of His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, who brought this the festival, Rath Yatra, he brought to the world back, first of all back in 1967, and then of course he brought all of Krishna consciousness to the world. And yes, it's just, it's really wonderful. So one reason, in fact, one of the main reasons that, other than the presence of the deities, the presence of Srila Prabhupada, and the presence of all of you and everybody else who was there, one of the main reasons that it was so nice was that there were so many devotees, quite a number, a lot of them behind the scenes, and some of them active, putting things together before the festival. So many of these devotees we would not have seen in action, so to speak, but they were working together very systematically, and just systematically, but really as a team, and it was just, well, as I said, it was one of the main reasons why the festival was so nice and so successful. So it's a very good example, and it's a very appropriate example, actually, of the value, the benefit of spiritual community and being in a spiritual community, being a member of a spiritual community. Really, it's just, that was just very clear example. And many of you were there in the background and doing this and doing that, helping put the festival together before, and then helping things keeping on going as the festival was proceeding for the 4 days. I went a couple of times into the back of Govinda's, and there was a team, I think, I don't know, maybe not quite as many as here, we are gathered here right now, but it was a big team, and they were fully engaged, just fully engaged, from practically dawn till not just dusk, but till late in the evening. So anyway, thank you to all of you who were helping like that, and otherwise thank you to all of you who came and as our guests and participated in one way or another, or in many ways. Thank you so much. And like I said, it's just a great example. It's like a proof that where you've got spiritual community, and not just someone doing something here and someone doing something else there, and someone else doing another thing somewhere else. You know, of course, if all those things are valid Krishna-conscious spiritual activities, well, that's nice. It's certainly of value. But when everyone comes together in Krishna consciousness and comes together nicely and cooperatively like that, the result in all respects, the result is so much greater and just so much more wonderful. Just like sometimes we give the example of, you can, if you want, for example, you can play some sports on your own. You can even sort of act out a game of rugby. I don't know if we have any Springboks here or fans, but South Africa is well known for that. And you can sort of play around, play rugby on your own and play cricket on your own if you want, sort of. But when you get together with a whole group and you're doing it all together, then it's just much more fun to start off with, and just much more absorbing and much more interesting. And Krishna consciousness works in the same way. And therefore, in the general sense, the association of devotees is explained is really promoted and encouraged. Encouraged is the word. It's really encouraged. And there's a number of famous verses in that regard in scripture. Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastre Koi, Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi Hoy. This is Lord Caitanya speaking in Caitanya Charitamrita, and he's saying that the association of devotees, even for a moment, that association of devotees can bring all perfection to another devotee. Yes. In a sense, of course, it's referring to associating with a great devotee, very great devotee like Srila Prabhupada himself. But then, having said that, it also applies. There's just different degrees of the effects of associating with different levels of devotees. And of course, the greatest effect is gained from the greatest of associating with the greatest of devotees. But even a beginner, or even a sort of sub-beginner, that's not really a proper term, is it? But let me tell you what I'm thinking about. I remember back when I was resident in Bhaktivedanta Manor just outside London. It was in the 70s sometime, sort of later perhaps, later 70s, but in the 70s. And one young man in his 20s or so just sort of rolled up with his bag and said, well, here I am. I want to move into the temple. So there were certain devotees who dealt with people like that. So those devotees were called and they started interviewing him. So, you want to stay in the temple? Yes, I'm here with all my things. I want to stay. And the devotee said, oh, so you've read some of our books? No, I haven't. Have you met some of our devotees and they explained some things? Not exactly. Well, where did you get the idea from? And he told a real story and a half. Listen to this. I mean, it's short, but it's really amazing. He was, would you believe, devotees in a pub. Do you know what I mean by a pub? It's short for public drinking house. And not drinking, Fanta or Fanta grape or whatever, but drinking liquor. Yes. So he was there. He was in there, and who should come and sit down with him but just some other young man who looked just kind of like one of the ordinary patrons of that place. And they started talking. And somehow the discussion turned to religion. And so they're just talking a bit about religion and this way and that. And then the one who had just walked in, said, you've got all these different groups and people who are practicing religion in this way or that. But as far as I'm concerned, he said, the best are the Hare Krishnas. And our person who had been sitting there to start off with, he said, oh, really, Hare Krishnas? I'm surprised to hear you say that. And now this other young man who'd come in said, yeah, actually, I used to live in the temple, one of our temples there in England. I used to live there. I lived there for some few months, but I couldn't really make it. I tried, but my desires and my mind and so on, after just a little while, some weeks or a few months, I left. I left the temple. But I could see that it's the best. It's just really special. It's unique amongst all the other groupings. And he said to the fellow who had come in the beginning, he said, that fellow said, I'm very interested in practicing some serious sort of spiritual way of life, some sort of religious way of life. So the one who had been living in the temple said, look, if you want to get into the real thing, go to the Hare Krishna temple. So the next day, he rolled up with his bag and he moved in and he became a devotee in England. And as far as I know, he's still there as a devotee. How's that for association with devotees? This is like, we talk of beginners. We call them kanishtas. They're beginners. This was sort of like a sub-beginner or a pre-beginner or something like that. He wasn't trying to practice. He was there to drink liquor in the bar. But somehow he influenced that one fellow and he became a devotee. So yes. And what to speak of the association of more advanced devotees who are really practicing very seriously and deeper in Krishna consciousness. And what to speak of the association of someone like His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Yes, it's just, amazing actually. Thank you, that helped. Yes, right. So in order to sort of, to focus on this point and bring the points out a bit further, I'm going to read a few verses. First of all, I'm going to read 2 verses. Actually, they're from Padma Purana, which Prabhupada did not translate and comment on, but he certainly referred to and talked about it and mentioned different things which are stated in it. So it is very important literature in our tradition. And here I'm going to read 2 verses quoted by Srila Jiva Goswami in Bhakti Sandarbha, his great treatise, sometimes called an essay, but it's huge. Shri Shri Radha Radhanath Shri Giri Govardhan Shri Caitanya Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Yes, right. So here we go, everyone. Listen to this. This is from Padma Purana Marg Mahatmya, means the part of the Padma Purana glorifying the month of Magh. It's from the Swarga Kanda, chapter 31, and it's verses 100 and 103. These 2 verses are quoted by Srila Jiva Goswami, one of our very great acharyas. So I'll just read the Sanskrit to start off with. Prahasman Yamuna Brata Sadaram hi puna puna Bhavadbhya Vaishnavastya Vishnum Ched Bhajate Nara Vaishnavo Yad Grihe Bhunkte Yesham Vaishnava Sadangati Tepiva Pariharyasyus Tat Sangha Hata Kilbisha, which translates as follows. Yamuna's brother. Here's an interesting point. You may not be aware that Yamuna, the Yamuna River, I'm sure many of you have been in Vrindavan, and if you have, you've at least seen the Yamuna. Maybe you bathed in the Yamuna. Yamuna is a person, Yamuna Devi, and you know who her brother is. Do you know who the brother of Yamuna is? Do you know? 3 in a row, you don't know either. Okay, it's okay. I didn't know until, I don't know, maybe about 15 years ago. But Yamuna's brother is Yamaraj. They're brother and sister. And in Mathura, if you ever go to Mathura, just near the town of Vrindavan, which is sort of more our focus really, but Mathura's right next door, about 10 or 15 kilometers away, at the famous Ghat. What's the name of the Ghat anyway? Whatever the name of the Ghat is, the main bathing place, there is a temple of Yamuna and Yamaraj together, brother and sister. So the translation then, Yamuna's brother Yamaraj has respectfully informed us again and again as follows. The Vaishnavas, means the devotees, the Vaishnavas who are engaged in the worship of Lord Krishna should not be approached by you. Yamuna is addressing Yamaraj and telling Yamaraj, the Lord of Death, that the devotees should not be approached by you or your representatives. Not only the devotees, but even those in whose homes the Vaishnavas have accepted prasad, or those who simply associate with Vaishnavas, are not to be approached by you, because their sins have been destroyed through contact with those devotees. So isn't that quite a statement? And that's just a general statement, actually, about the Vaishnavas, the devotees. And, you may not have known that about Yamuna and Yamaraj being brother and sister, but you're still a devotee, aren't you? Whether you like it or not. Anyway, you like it, which is good. You love it, so that's great. But, yeah, you're a devotee. So you're one of these people being talked about, that if someone came to your house and you gave them some prasadam, or anyway, someone who may just associate with you even a little casually, like this, because of their association with you, all devotees, then those people can also, Yamaraj and his associates, the Yamadutas, should not, she says, but will not approach you. It's very important. Here's another verse. This is from Brihanaradiya Purana. That's the book where the famous verse Harir Nam, Harir Nam, Harir Nam Eva Kevalam appears. I think you're all familiar with that verse. So in the same book, here's a verse. Even a dreadful sinner who has taken refuge in the association of those who associate with the devotees of Lord Krishna is absolved of all sins. Even a dreadful sinner who's now associating with devotees of Krishna is absolved of all sins, freed, you could say, cleansed of all sins. A dreadful sinner. Then, In the Bhagavatam, in Srimad Bhagavatam, there's a few very relevant and important verses in the course of the narration about Ajamil. Now, I imagine you've all heard of Ajamil, the story of Ajamil, who he was and what happened to him. But in an extremely small nutshell, he was born in a good devotee family, but in his youth, kind of like late teens, maybe 20-ish, that stage of life, he fell down very drastically, and he became just like degraded in the extreme. Really, really degraded. He married a prostitute and would send her out every day to do her business so she could bring money back. You get the idea. Along with some violence and theft, and sure, it's really pretty shocking. So Ajamil, he was born in that culture, of course, and he and the prostitute in their later days, they gave birth to a son who they decided to name Narayan, which of course is the name of the Supreme Lord. But they chose that name just because it was a popular name. It was like, one of so many names in that sort of culture people would use. Just like, if you're born in the sort of culture I was born in, then people are called John and Paul and Mary and Richard, and because that's just the culture. It's just the way it is. But if someone's born, even here in South Africa, born in a Hindu family or that type of family, then, when I first arrived here, maybe my second day in South Africa, or in Durban actually, I met one young man, and I asked him, what's your name? He said, my name is Krishna Gopal Govinda, which means Govinda actually. But my name is Krishna Gopal Govinda, but everyone calls me Fred. So just call me Fred. Seriously. And I thought, wow, what happened? You couldn't have a better name. Anyway, mixture of cultures, isn't it? Yeah. So they gave him the name Narayan, not because they're thinking, yes, it's a very wonderful spiritual name. It'll be very good for him. Whenever people address him, every day, he'll be hearing a name of the Supreme Lord. They were not thinking like that. They just thought, it's a nice name. And, like a fairly common name in the culture that they were living in. So, but then, of course, not too much later, somewhat later, he came to the time of death. And at that point, his little son, Narayan, was 5. And who should come but the Yamadutas? We don't have any pictures of the Yamadutas around here, because if visitors who know nothing about this came and saw them, I don't think they'd be able to deal with it. But, sometimes I say, if I'm ever making a presentation to people from like a European type of background and somehow talking about the Yamadutas, sometimes I tell them, they look like really extremely heavy metal people multiplied by about 20. In other words, they look bizarre, is practically not the word. just so way out. They really look the part. And they're in the process of dragging the soul and the subtle body out of the gross body of Ajamil. And Ajamil, he's in shock, total shock. He never knew about this, he never expected this. And he didn't know what to do, and all he could think of, what just came to his mind just spontaneously was, let me call out for my son. Maybe he can help me. So he's calling out, Narayan, Narayan, help, meaning his son. His son was 5. 5. What's a little 5-year-old child going to do against a gang of big and just brutal and devastating Yamadutas? But that's all he could think of. But because it's the name of the Supreme Lord, the Vishnu Dutas, the servants of the Supreme Lord, came, and it's a bit of a long story, but they rescued him, and he didn't die. But because of the whole experience, including and even particularly being rescued by the servants of the Supreme Lord, when he was revived, he became a devotee. And he went to Haridwar, and he passed away there, and he went back to Godhead. So anyway, Ajamil. So he was a dreadful sinner, actually, as that previous verse said. So there's a series of verses here. The Yamadutas who wanted to take the subtle body, means the mental body, and the soul of Ajamil, and bring them to Yamaraj, the king of death, for judgment, they were themselves shocked. How did these people come, the Vishnu Dutas, and interrupt us and just chase us away? Because that Ajamil, he was just like a perfect candidate for us. Means he was a dreadful sinner. He was just a terrible person. But somehow these people interrupted us and chased us away. So they went to Yamaraj and asked, what happened? And Yamaraj, he knew what had actually happened, the events which had occurred. And he told them that this Ajamil chanted the name of the Supreme Lord at the time when he was just about to die. He didn't die, in fact, as it worked out, but it appeared like that. So right at that time, he called out in a mood of like desperation a name of the Supreme Lord. And therefore the representatives of the Supreme Lord came and saved him and chased you away, because he chanted the holy name of the Supreme Lord. So Yamaraj is explaining this to his servants, why this all happened, how it happened. And he speaks this verse. If you want to look it up, you can. 6th canto, chapter 3, verse 27. 6:327. So he tells the Yamadutas, my dear servants, please do not approach such people, for they are fully surrendered to the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. They're equal to everyone. He's referring just to devotees in general at this point, not exactly talking about Ajamil particularly, but the devotees are equal to everyone, and their narrations are sung by the demigods and the inhabitants of Siddhaloka. Please do not even go near them. They're always protected by the club of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And therefore Lord Brahma and I, and even the time factor, are not competent to chastise them. Means devotees in the broad sense. So bring me, just bring me the unrighteous, whose desires are bound to material life, which is a path leading to hell, and who disregard the taste of the nectar flowing from the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, which is continuously drunk by the most elevated devotees. Bring me only them. Yes. So in a certain sense, it may appear that Lord Yamaraj is telling the Yamadutas, when there's very advanced devotees, elevated devotees who are just very special, even in the community of devotees, when they are leaving their bodies, just don't go near them. But then he speaks another verse, it's same chapter, verse 30, 6th canto, chapter 3, verse 30. And, you'll find this interesting. Prabhupada says, introducing the verse, then Yamaraj, after instructing the Yamadutas, then Yamaraj, considering himself and his servants to be offenders, spoke as follows, begging pardon from the Supreme Lord. So he says, Yamaraj says, O my Lord, my servants have surely committed a great offense by arresting a Vaishnav, a devotee, such as a Jamil. O Lord Narayan, O supreme and oldest person, please forgive us. Because of our ignorance, we failed to recognize a Jamil as a servant of your lordship, and thus we have certainly committed a great offense. Therefore, with folded hands, we beg you, my Lord, since you are supremely merciful and are always full of good qualities, please pardon us. We offer our respectful obeisances unto you. So what did Ajamil do to qualify for Yamaraj, who himself is one of the topmost devotees? He's a Mahajan, one of the great authorities on Krishna consciousness in the universe. What did Ajamil do to qualify to be spoken of in terms like that? Well, all he did was call out the name Narayan a few times, sometimes, not a lot of times. It's not like he chanted 16 rounds in that mood. Nothing like it at all. We're talking about maybe several times or 10 or a dozen times or something like that. And he was not calling out, my Lord Narayan. He was calling my son Narayan, my little 5-year-old son Narayan, please help me, save my life. Which of course, as we mentioned, was a sort of useless proposal, a hopeless proposal. 5-year-old Narayan is going to fight off this gang of giant Yamadutas. That's all he did, because he lived as the previous verse said, what did it say? He was a dreadful sinner. A dreadful sinner. Like sometimes we talk about how someone may be the most fallen, and sometimes even devotees say, oh, I'm the most fallen. But to be the most fallen is not easy. There's a lot of competition for that position. I mean, you got to be way out of it, almost in another world of horrendous activities, to actually be the most fallen. One devotee said to Prabhupada once, "Oh, Prabhupada, I am the most fallen." Prabhupada said, "Actually, you are not the most anything." Prabhupada said, you are simply insignificant. Yeah. So, but here Yamaraj is speaking like that my assistants, sort of on my order, or at least I'm ultimately responsible for what they do. They went to drag the soul and subtle body, mental body, out of the dying, gross outer body of a Jamil, and he's begging forgiveness for having done that, because he's taking a Jamil to be a devotee, and even, like a special devotee. So, but to live in the association of not just a Jamils, colleagues of a Jamil, but to live in the association of, you could say, regular devotees who chant regularly, or, many of them, they chant 16 rounds a day. A Jamil was not doing that. And they follow the four regulative principles. So they're like regular devotees. Maybe they're initiated, maybe not initiated, but, they're involved to a significant degree like that. To live amongst devotees like that is extremely beneficial, just extremely beneficial spiritually. And to see how all the devotees cooperated at the festival just the previous weekend, it really made one appreciate that point. These are such special people. Yes, really. I mean, unique means the only one, but in a sense, each one of them is unique. Certainly amongst the people in general, because they're dedicated to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, and they're fully engaged in the movement, or fully engaged, but they're engaged, at least regularly engaged, regularly engaged in the movement of Lord Caitanya, the most recent incarnation of Lord Krishna. Yeah. Those who recognize Lord Caitanya amongst the devotees, I mean, there are many devotees who don't recognize Lord Caitanya, but those who do, they are the most special of the devotees. So devotees and everyone and friends. Now, let me just do a check. Where is Mataji? There she is. Don't forget what she said about telephones. Right? You remember? She said, turn off your telephones. Because what she didn't say, but what she'd find out if you did not turn it off and it rang, she would confiscate your telephone. And we'd sell it to defray expenses. Anyway, excuse me. So what should I do? It's almost 20 past. I should stop, is it? I got questions. So tell me what I should do. The questions, or one or two? One or two, okay. Oh. Okay. So let's do this one, right? Okay, fine. Thank you. Sorry. And these other questions, sorry. I always go over time, and I succeeded in doing it today. Again, so there's a little message here. A Prabhu would like to ask a live question. Who is that Prabhu. Oh, there he is. Yes, sir. Please.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Please accept my obeisances and all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Right.
Maharaj, I've been coming to the temple from 84, and one of my challenges is that although we are a personal movement, when we come and sit in the temple, we don't know the devotees next to us.
Don't we?
No, we don't. And you normally sit, and sometimes they don't even greet each other.
I see.
So I'm trying to do the welcoming at the temple.
Okay.
And a lot of times we get new people that
Right.
come in, and I think they go without any understanding of what's happening. So
I
how
see.
do we rectify that?
Okay, well, that's an important point. I'm looking around. I don't know everyone, but I really do know quite a few. I do. Anyway, maybe I'm just an unusual person. Well, you've been around since 84. I've been around longer than you. Anyway. But yes, you've made a good point. And what we should do, not would, what we must do, we must have a team of devotees. I mean, not like a big football team or something like that, but a group who do know who are the regular devotees and who are not. And of course, anyway, they should do, ideally. Ideally, they should or must do. And so then when they see some person coming in who, it's pretty clear at least, has not been here before and sort of doesn't know their way around at all, they then go and meet the person and just, assist them, explain things and be with them through the program. And at the end of the program, take them to take prasadam and be with them and, just explain gently and nicely Krishna consciousness over prasadam. And that's done in many places. When I used to go to Ukraine, in Kiev, there's a big temple, and every Sunday, at the end of the Sunday program, just before the devotees, everybody goes to take prasadam, they ask, who is here for the first time? And Ukrainians, they're not as sort of, I don't know how to put it, quiet, reserved, as many of our Chatsworthians and people like that. And they'll immediately, they'll say, oh yeah, I'm here for the first time. Who is here for the first time? Could you put your hand up? Oh, look, thank you. Well done. So you see, here for the first time. Did you note that? Some more gregarious devotee is here. Please look after them. Is that okay? Yeah, so that's what we need. And it's very important to have that, because I remember when I walked into the temple in London for the first time, it was late 1972, and I walked in, and I wanted to find out what is Hare Krishna, and I wanted to find a spiritual master. So there was one devotee sitting on the steps, on the stairs, just inside the door, and I asked him, are you a spiritual master? He was about my age. I was 21. Not so likely to be a spiritual master, but what did I know? I just asked him. And he looked at me, and would you believe, you know what he said to me? He said, you look really spaced out. That's what he said to me, and got up and walked away. And there was me like, wow, what happened now? But then what happened was, coming down the stairs was Subhag Maharaj. Some of you may know him. He's Bengali. He's a sannyasi now, Subhag Swami. At the time he was a brahmachari in London. And I don't know if he's come here. Maybe he hasn't come here, so maybe you don't know him. But he's a really nice devotee and like a real gentleman. Very gentle, kind, and considerate type of person. So I asked him, "Are you a spiritual master?" And he said, "No, not really, but just come with me." And he took me into the temple room and, explained things nicely to me. And it was great. So you get the idea. We need people like him who are into it, who've got their eyes open. And, of course, you can just... There will certainly be people who don't come often, but they do come, and you may not know that they do come. They sort of, into it to some degree. So you might walk up, if you're in that group, trying to look after the visitors, particularly those who are coming for the first time, you might go up and say, "Oh, is this your first visit to the temple?" They may say, no. Anyway, that's okay. That's not a problem. And you can always ask them, "Well, would you like anything explained to you?" And they may say, no, I've read the books, or something like that. So, okay, just let them go, and then wait for the next one. Yeah. And then what they do, they take them through the whole program to the end, till the time the people actually leave and drive away. And generally they take their personal details, their address, phone number, email and whatnot, all that sort of thing, and then try and follow up in, not a sort of over-enthusiastic, sort of very pushy way, but just nicely try and follow up. How does that sound? Sounds okay, yeah? Okay, very good. So there are other questions. I'm sorry we don't have time. If anyone wrote a question and they really do want an answer, I'll be sitting probably over that side after the arati, and you could always come and ask me. Otherwise, yes, thank you very much. Hare Krishna. We hand over to Mataji.
His Holiness Bhakti Caitanya Swami Maharaj ki Jai. Thank you, Maharaj, for always so warmly and lovingly engaging with us and sharing with us this inspiring pastimes. So devotees, Maharaj inspired us to take on this welcoming team. So if you would like to volunteer to be on this team to welcome new people and new friends to our temple, please come connect with one of us, and we'll be so happy to have you as part of this team.
Who's
so
one of us? Are you talking about you?
Not only me, there's Alanath Prabhu as
Prabhuji,
well, and
yeah.
Panchamrit
Not
Prabhu
just,
also.
sort of one of us. Not me, anyway.
So devotees, now we'll have a short video about Rath Yatra 2025, and immediately thereafter we'll welcome Her Grace Champakalata Mataji, Shri Shri Radha Radhanath Ki Jai. So Champakalata Mataji is the Public Relations Officer. She will do a short presentation after the video. Hare Krishna.
बेजारे के तारे राखीते पारे তারে রাখিতে পারে তব ইচ্ছা ব্রহ্মায়াদি দেবগণ তব দাসয়গণ করে তব আজ্ঞার পালন ব্রহ্মায়াদি দেবগণ তব দাসয়গণ করে তব আজ্ঞার পালন তব ইচ্ছা মতে যত গ্রহগণ অবিরত শুভাশুভ ফল করে না তব ইচ্ছা মতে যত গ্রহগণ অবিরত শুভাশুভ ফল করে না রোগ শোক মৃত্যু ভয় তব ইচ্ছা মতে হয় তব আজ্ঞা সদা বলবান রোগ শোক
Hare Krishna. So actually I'd like to ask you to give a round of applause to yourselves, because without you, your participation, this festival would not have been possible. So please give yourselves a round of applause. So Maharaj very nicely explained at the start of his class, his appreciation, his personal appreciation, and I think in his capacity as the co-GBC for South Africa, as well as one of the leaders of our society internationally, and here particularly with Durban being his base, his appreciation to everyone who assisted with the festival. However, I have been requested by the managing committee of the festival to express their appreciation to all the devotees for the services that they've rendered in making this festival a huge success. Yeah. So I'm just going to go through a few statistics. You've seen the video clip. This is, the various devotees captured the festival through photographs, through videos, etc. And there's a lot of footage coming out of the festival. This is just one of them. But just to give you an overview in terms of statistics of what transpired at the festival, approximately 100,000 plates of prasad was distributed over the 4 days. At the mantra meditation tent, 2,200 guests engaged in chanting a round of japa. The stage program content expanded over 36 hours of content on the stage program. 10,000 guests are estimated to have attended the Friday Sunshine Parade, and on the Monday we estimated 15,000 guests attended the Sunset Parade. The overall attendance and awareness over the 4 days is estimated to being almost 500,000. And at this point, I'd also like to mention that we had extensive media coverage. There was radio stations present. There was Hindwani who broadcasted live from the festival. Apart from them, there was interviews on Lotus FM. East Coast Radio gave us over 120,000 rands of free advertising. And that is apart from television. We had News Desk Africa, who spent almost half the day with us on Friday, capturing videos and interviews, and that aired on channel 405. And channel 404, which is the SABC News, had us on their channel on the Sunday as well. So it was very impressive in terms of the festival. You know, as you can see, a lot of teamwork that took place, and this reminds me of like in the Ramayana as well, where in the building of the bridge to Lanka, all the forest dwellers were requested to participate in building this bridge, and no matter whether it was the monkeys down to the squirrel, everyone had a role to play in building that bridge. And likewise, you know, I think it was at one of the festivals before the Rath Yatra, when we launched the festival. It wasn't Snan Yatra, it was a festival before. I think it was Gaur Purnima. It was Gaur Purnima where I stood before you here at the temple itself, and I spoke about us coming together as a family, and how when we have a function at home, we come together and we put our hands together and we make it the best festival possible, and that guests to the festival or to our homes need to be welcomed, treated well, and we want to give them the best experience possible. And I think that was achieved due to everyone's participation. The video showcased the various tents, so my thank you goes out to every one of you in whatever capacity you assisted in this festival, whether it was just cleaning the vegetables, painting the chariots, you know, manning a booth at the festival, giving a class at the festival, serving prasad. You know who you are, and our immense gratitude goes out to you. And of course, Panchamrita Prabhu asked about, you know, we're a personal organization, and yet we don't know many of the devotees here, despite us coming here for years and years. So one way that we can get to know everyone on a personal level is by serving with each other. And when you serve together in a team, you get to build relationships. And those relationships grow into a family that we are, and that we can put on festivals of this nature and jointly take you know, responsibility, and all credit, of course, goes to Srila Prabhupada and his beloved disciples, such as His Holiness Bhakti Caitanya Swami, who continues to inspire us to serve. As it said, you know, devotional service is joyfully performed. And I'm sure every one of you experienced the joy of devotion in your service at this festival. So an immense official thank you from the Festival Organizing Committee. Thank you very much, and we look forward to your participation in the forthcoming festivals, in the celebrations for Srila Prabhupada's 50th anniversary visit to South Africa, the 40th anniversary of the temple opening year, and going forward to the 2026 Rath Yatra. Hare Krishna.
Thank you to Champakalata Mataji, and I'm sure we're all looking forward now to Rath Yatra 2026. Devotees, a quick few announcements from me. This coming Wednesday, the 30th of April, is Akshay Tritiya. Then Srila Prabhupada's Vyasa Puja will be observed on the 17th of August, but there's a call for your appreciations, realizations, and any write-up you would like to make an offering for in the BBT Pan-African Vyasa Puja book. The closing date for this is the 1st of June, and all the details are online, and your submissions are online as well. Today's Sunday Love Feast Prasadam has been lovingly prepared by the Park Reni Namahata, which is headed by His Grace Rameshwar Prabhu. So a big thank you to Rameshwar Prabhu and his team. So devotees, thank you so much for attending today's Sunday Love Feast program. We hope to see you again next week. We wish you a blissful and blessed week ahead. And from me, thank you, and another warm welcome to our new friends with us. A big Haribol for them. And I will now hand over to His Grace Smita Krishna Prabhu, and then we'll continue into Aarti. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much. This is a very quick one. The festival continues with the arrival of His Holiness Swayam Bhagavan Keshav Swami on May 9th. So those of you who had his association last year, you know what a dynamic preacher he is and how popular his social media classes are. So he'll arrive and he'll give the class at New Jagannath Puri on the 9th, and Saturday 10th May he'll give the morning class here, and at 12 o'clock he has a big program at Milkwood Theatre, Danville Girls High School, and that booking is via web ticket. So the links are going out. Sunday, May 11th, what festival is that? I didn't hear? Nishingadev Chaturdasi, Haribo. So he will give the class at 14:30 here and 16:30 at New Jagannath Puri. And Monday 12th we have a proposal for an ISKCON Durban youth group program. Details to be confirmed for that. And he leaves on the 13th, but he gives the morning class. So 9th to the 13th, Keshava Swami will be here. Please attend that program. Next week is Santan Ratha Yatra. For those of you who want to come, let's go. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Let's stand for the Aarti, and please help to put the chairs away, stack them up, and somebody will take and put them aside. Thanks so much. Hare Krishna.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vishnaya Bhutale Shivade Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitte Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Divishesha Shunyavadi Paschacharya Shatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada.
Jai Vishnupad, Paramahansa Parivrajakcharis, Tadasi Samad, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki, ISKCON Samstapakacharya Srila Prabhupada ki, Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki. Prem Sigahus Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivas Adi Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan ki. Shri Vrindavan Dham ki. Shri Mayapur Dham ki. Shri Jagannath Puri Dham ki. Shri Shri Radha Radhanath ki. Shri Giri Govardhan ki. Shri Shri Gonitai ki. Srila Prabhupada ki. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki. Go Premanande. All glories to the Sama devotees. All glories to the Sama devotees. All glories to the Sama devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Namaste Narasingaya. Palada lada dayane. Hiranyakashipu Pakshaha. Srilatam Kanakalaye. Tore Singa Para Tore Singa. Yato Yato Yamita Tore Singa. Yane Singa Rita Enre Singa. Narasimhamadim Sharanam Prapadye. Tadakara Kamalavare Nakama Gota Singam Dalita Hiranyakashipo Tanu Pringam Keshavadita Narahari Ropa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare. Kesavadrita Narahari Ropa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare. Nrsingadev 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 Jai Nrsingadev Jai Nrsingadev Nrsingadev Jai Nrsingadev. Jai Prahlad Maharaj Jai Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj, Jai Prahlad Maharaj. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Shri Nrsimhadev Bhagavan ke, Shri Prahlad Maharaj ke, Srila Prabhupada ke, Go Premanande, Haribol, Haribol, Haribol.